One. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London. In tonight's scene, we'll be finding ourselves not in the great grand halls of power, nor really in places of great conspiracy. For tonight, at least as sort of an exception, we find ourselves in deepest, darkest Croydon, to be more precise in order to recall territory, at a lovely little pub called the Green Dragon. We'll be starting our scene with Anthony. Please take the stage. Okay, Anthony's still muted, so would somebody else like to introduce their character?
All right, I guess Nikolai will go.
Nikolai to the rescue.
Nikolai's probably in the corner. He has several sheets out, and notebook. He's has a beer nearby, and he's copying things over from the sheets into the notebook, and often referring to books, like he's doing a little study project. And he's just sitting over in one of the corner tables all by himself, chilling out as he does this.
Fair enough. Next, Kindred up, please.
Natalia, for her part, is pretty much just joined, or she's just got in the door. She's, well, actually, I should get a picture up. But for the moment, she's just arriving. She looks relatively normal, as she normally does. And
Not a flaming skull?
nope. I'll just change that real quick.
I mean, she can be Nicolas Cage in that one shitty movie if she wants.
Are there two of those? Isn't there like Ghost Rider 1 and 2?
Oh, God, the second one was so shit, I forgot it existed. Ha.
But isn't there two?
There's two,
there is a second. There is a second one, and it's worse somehow. I still don't know how that's possible, but hey.
CGI abs.
Yikes. Well, she looks relatively normal. She comes in, just looks around, scans the crowd, just she's just gonna sit at the bar for the moment. Just gonna nurse a drink. She's not gonna drink from it, but he's just gonna sit there for a moment.
Fair enough. Anthony, you're around?
Yes, I'm around. Sorry. Today we have dear Mr. My dear lovely vampire, whose name I'm fucking blanking on right now. God damn. Brain farts are terrible. But with this, he walks into the establishment. It's a normal day in the neighborhood. He seems very interested in the comings and goings of his fellow kindred in the city. Very much so open for conversation and mingling, as he does.
Fair enough. The green dragon itself, although being your standard pub, has got some loving touches here and there, and there's even a big rainbow flag hanging off the balustrade from the first floor to the ground floor. And it is from aforementioned first floor that you guys see the following gentleman coming down. It is, of course, the one, the only Mr. Irons. He seems to be in a rather good mood as he comes down, scans the area, nods to the kindred that have noticed him, and is walking to the bar to order himself, what else could it be, a Cuba Libre. Evening, Natalia.
Hello. I do appreciate the invitation, or what, but is there any reason for what's is there a specific reason why we're having a get together, or?
No. This time it is purely social, no work. I just thought that once in a while it could be good for our mental health just to chillax, as the kids like to say these days.
Please don't ever say that again. Just don't.
Why, dog? Am I making you uncomfortable? And
yeah.
he takes a sip.
Yeah, no. Just something inside my head breaks every time that happens. You know what? Never mind.
I shall endeavor not to. Wouldn't want to break you anytime soon.
Right. So, we're just going to be here, and nothing's going to happen. We're not going to. Okay, that's good. I could use that.
That is the plan. That is the plan. He downs some more of his drink. He obviously has got Blush of Life on and seems to be quite savoring the taste.
So, what you've been up to? Is that she looks around? Is that thing with the weird, creepy shit? Is that been taken care of, or what?
Apart from, showing up at the not at the last, at the Elysium before, they haven't reared their ugly heads. So currently everything is pretty quiet on the Western Front.
Okay, that's good.
However, talking about last time's Elysium, Mr. Goodman and I were able to apprehend 2 of the 3 ne'er-do-wells.
Well, I mean, I don't really feel bad for them, but almost. So
we managed to torpor one, and the other one was not being so cooperative, so he got corpsed.
Right. Do we know who? Well, obviously, you don't know who sent them, but any indications of who or what?
Fair enough. Well, to be fair, the 2 individuals in question were handed over to the proper authorities, of course. I took the liberty of shooting a picture of the 2, but I haven't seen them before. And he pulls out his cell phone and shows you a picture of a woman, obviously torpid, claws just very faintly showing in the picture, so he's angling it in a way that only you can see it. Both of them were really tough. I have to say, I've seldom seen people take punishment like that. But I would say Gangrel, just looking at her manicure, he chuckles.
Hmm. All right, fair enough. I mean, I'm sure that whoever, like, sheriff or whoever gets to, yeah, I'm sure they have it all well in hand. So, can I get you anything?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't mind. Yeah. Haven't had absinthe in ages. Fancy some green fairy?
Hmm. Sure. Why the hell not?
Thank you. And the order goes out.
I mean, it would really be nice for the night without politics. Oh, then.
Yeah, to a certain extent, that was also my whole idea. Literally just relaxing a bit. You know.
We'll see how long that lasts.
We shall see what we shall see. But in the meantime, I'll enjoy the peace and quiet. Ah, thank you, John. And the absinthe is put in front of them. And he even asks what the lady and gents like me to do the flaming for them, or would you like to do that yourself?
No, I would like it without fire, just, normal.
No problem, John. We'll be having it cold. As you wish, dude. And the barkeep turns around and starts cleaning some glasses with what seems to be a clean towel. But yeah, out of curiosity, do you know if our little club is able of making themselves tougher? You know, being able to stick in more punishment than, you know.
What exactly do you mean?
Oh, hi there. Um, how should I say? An ability to toughen yourself up, which doesn't even necessarily involve, you know, training at a gym. He gives you a wink.
Oh, that.
I haven't come across that yet.
Well, most individuals are able to do what you're describing, but it's a very common thing.
Maybe I should try and test it out because, damn, those two fuckers were hard to bring down.
First time in a scrap, awesome.
Out of character, what did you say? I didn't quite catch that.
First time in a scrap, I assume.
First time in a scrap with our kind, yeah.
Oh.
As for others, well, I'm not really at liberty to speak about it. Not at the moment, anyway.
As you say.
But anyway, dude, how are you doing? How have the nights been for you?
Profitable and well. A lot of the things that I have put into motion have come back in revenue almost 100%. So I can't complain.
Oh, congratulations. And he pours a bit of absinthe for Natalia, for himself, and then looks at him. Would you like some too?
I'm fine. No, thank you.
Your loss.
Hmm.
But I'll drink to that, to ventures that turn out profitable. some of mine have turned out pretty well as well.
I'm glad.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, how are things north of the river? Nice and quiet, I hope.
North of the river, what?
North of the river. He's referring to the mostly Invictus territory, apart from that one little Lancair Sanctum part.
Oh, right. Sorry, I was somewhere else.
I was too vague.
Things are good, I assume. It's probably good.
Glad to hear it. Things are pretty quiet at our end of the woods as well.
Well, I've been running some, business for, people.
You don't have to say more.
And it's, fuck. I mean, it's what it is. It's just, it's not the most. Yeah.
Gotcha. Some rather boring and nasty work, probably.
No, just yeah. It's really not that bad. It's just takes a while to get used to, I suppose.
Yeah, most things do. Heck, there are still some things I'm getting used to. And he's cheerily drinking his drinks.
You invited Nikolai over there, or what?
He occasionally shows up where I am. I've grown used to it. I don't even question it anymore.
Right. That's not
Nikolai, for his part, seems to haven't even noticed any of you guys walk in.
Yeah, Marcus actually takes a better look and then goes, who knows? He seems quite busy with some research he's doing. So I didn't want to bother him.
Right. It's just, you know what? Never mind. It's not creepy at all or anything. It just shows up sometimes. Sits there in the corner and doesn't do anything. I mean,
Hey! Out of character, in his defense, we are in the heart of Ordo territory.
that is true, but just the way it was put forward was a little like, oh, okay.
It is, but I'm sure he has his heart at the right place, or at least I hope to. Birth defects can be a nasty thing.
So, yeah, business, like, it's good and stuff, and yeah. You
I feel
get the
like
vibe, like Anthony, you get the vibe that Natalia's it's not necessarily uncomfortable, but she seemed to have tensed up a little bit more. So, what exactly is the reason for that? Who knows? But
Marcus has a good look at her. I mean, if I've said anything that has put you on edge, I'm sorry. That really wasn't my plan.
No, it's fine. It's just business is good, and it's not like I mean, I should just totally relax and like there's no problems here, right?
not that I know of.
I
Right.
haven't seen anything out of the ordinary, and trust me, if I would, you'd be the first person to hear. Closely followed by a good friend.
Well, I mean, except for the things we can't talk about, but you know, other than that,
hmm
I really just hope that it's going to blow over soon. I mean, not that I'm directly involved, but you know, still.
Yeah. That reminds me, do you own any bells? I know it's an odd question to ask. I know it's
Is that the
not
euphemism?
slang. It's not a euphemism. I'm talking about the jingly things.
Like physical bells or
Physical
like
bells. Physical bells.
not just a ringing noise, but like physical. But no, I don't think so.
Hmm.
I mean, technically, you could make a bell out of quite a few things. Just has to be metal.
That's true.
Or just go to your local hardware store and pay a few pounds. It's not
Yeah.
difficult.
But
Look-
to be fair, I can understand that two enterprising lady and gentlemen such as yourself might be very busy and not have that much time for it. So, and he produces two, I would say, roughly hand-sized bells, ones that you could easily hang up somewhere. And he goes,
Okay, I mean,
If you want-
if this is a setup for a good joke, I mean, you're going all out on you know, equipment here, so you know, at least I have to give you props for that.
For so I mean, sometimes I wish I could just tattoo on my forehead. I'm not planning to screw you over, but that would
No,
be
that
pretty
is not what I'm
pointless.
saying. What I'm saying is this looks like a joke. Like it's like, oh, take this and ring it, and then you'll say some pun or something.
If you want to think that this is a joke, go ahead. But I'd like to gift you two each one of these. Let's just say of the first thing we spoke about, there is certain folklore around that they can't stand the sound of bells. So I took the liberty of acquiring some. You know, just on the odd chance that it might work.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
I feel positive towards you two. So here, you know, just might help, just in case. And he also hands one to Anthony.
He takes it, but it's awkward. He looks awkward holding it. This is an awkward conversation.
And yeah, and the feeling is very much mutual. Natalia pretty much completely duplicates receiving it, looking at it, just like, thanks. Pretty
Don't
much
worry, no
duplicated.
strings attached. Promise.
I hope not. Let's just.
Okay, you have my word of honor.
Some
No
Ordo
strings
Draco
attached.
thing? Like, am I being initiated? Like, what is this?
Oh no. Trust me. If I were trying to initiate you, you would know it. It would be very clear. Or would it? He puts in this classic fake. Or does it?
I don't know. You came to me, you offered me drinks, and then you gave me a bell. Like, this is sounding like The Witcher. Am I going to be sacrificed?
Oh! You know Sapkowski work. Excellent book series.
No, like this is in regards to those weird happenings and weird things that are apparently in the city, which is
You
bad.
know, umbral fouling up the place. At least I came across it in one of the folklores that, yeah. So, you know, I mean, I'm not forcing it on you. If you don't want it, your choice.
This
I'm
is
just
weird.
trying to be a good citizen and helping my fellow kindred. That's all.
Are you trying to be shady? Because you sound shady.
I don't know. Do
You
I?
sound like you're trying to sell me something, and that's a white man and outside.
No, I don't have a mix track that I want to sell you.
Are you sure? No hot beats for me for 2020? Like,
No, no. I know it's a bit weird, but then again, after all that has happened, is this really the weirdest thing that has happened to you?
yes, actually.
Gosh, you must be leading a boring life.
My life isn't
And
boring, but this conversation is awkward.
I got to say, like, I honestly I see both sides of this because it is very, very fucking weird. But honestly, there is got to be weirder or more awkward things happening. I mean, if there isn't, it's kind of a win, honestly.
Come on, if this is the weirdest thing that happens to you tonight, I dare say that this is a good night. But no, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not a snake oil salesman. If I want to make some money, I've got methods. And they don't involve you two.
I think that's appreciated. She looks over at Anthony's character, right?
Say that again one more time. You broke up
She
a bit.
just looks at you and says, "I think that's appreciated. That
I
we're
think
not being
so.
sold anything." Yeah.
I don't know.
Like she kind of shrugs. Just
I
goes,
shrug back like this is weird. Like
Well, no, I'll keep. And Natalia just begins to mess around or fuck around with the bells and tries to put it somewhere where it won't ring constantly when she moves. It takes a little bit, but she gets there.
Yeah, so there's one or two very nice clinging rings coming from them. If you would have to guess, it's probably a bronze bell.
I don't know why I had a picture of you handing me like an 1800th century, like, bell. Like, here, let's take this.
Well,
You'll be safe.
Given that you guys are probably accidentally ringing the bells, that's probably going to get people's attention.
Yeah.
So Nikolai will look up, nod to you guys, and go back to his work.
Like the stone cold motherfucker that he is.
Honestly, I gotta say, like, I thought I was an introvert, but like, there's nothing against it. Like, it's like he
It's
doesn't
almost
speak a lot, doesn't he?
he almost seems like a cryptid.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, you mean like the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot?
No, I mean like the people who lock themselves in rooms and don't socialize but go on the internet and read books and don't actually interact with the world. It's frightening to like watch it.
Cryptid? I think you have the wrong word there, mate. I think what you're thinking of is a hikikomori. I had a stint in Japan. Don't look at me that weird.
Too late. That would just be the
Excellent.
comment.
Thank you. That
Too
one
late.
was on purpose. That one was I was setting you up on purpose there.
Yes.
Quite. You're doing a very good job. Like,
Oh, I'm just paying back. I'm just paying back all the times that you were pushing my buttons.
oh yeah, and
I don't think I did notice last time I was high that you were trying to get a reaction out of me. I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You wanted to see if,
Yeah, people who don't get pissed off at anything,
are
they
either
they
psychopaths or... Sorry. you were
no,
speaking.
people who like, when someone is just nice no matter what, and you can push their buttons as much as you want, and nothing happens. That's odd. That's an anomaly. Like that's not normal, and that kind of maybe not necessarily it freaks me out or anything, but it does make
Disconcerts
me
you.
yeah disconcerting. That's it. Like normal people would get pissed off or say, "Hey, fuck off, back off," or something. But if you don't, if you're just like, "Oh yeah, I'm happy," and like everything is good, no matter what happens, and that's odd. That's odd.
It's fine, it's fine. You used the same tactic I used back in the day. It's fine. But I like to give around as I get around.
Yeah, it's only fair.
And let's be honest, ever since the first time I walked into Elysium, I probably have just counted as odd and weird. So, I might as well roll with it, I guess.
I suppose.
Anyway, how's your absinthe? He
Well,
takes
that's good.
another swig.
That's good. Just
But yeah, if we're done with our drinks or going for a second round, do we want to go and just awkwardly sit with our dear corner friend there?
No.
Marcus just sort of gives a, how should I say, a ragabashi grin?
So how's
You know
business
what?
going, Natalia?
Oh, they're going fine. Like, yeah, the thing is really good. Like, I mean, going here doing errands, normal errands. Not
Fair.
much more than that.
We have an issue in the Invictus domain. It's about the individual that was found dead, the elder. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, it has been going around the rumor mill, so it's an open secret.
It's not really a secret since the Harpies already know. Anything the Harpies know isn't a secret.
Well, yeah. I guess somebody has to keep the rumor mill going.
Well, as far as I had heard, the way I heard it, it sounded like things were, under control. But by the sound of what you're saying, it does. Maybe it's
Well,
not
no.
that they're.
It's relatively under control, but we actually have some leads, and we want to know if you want to give a hand.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. A lot of the local houses and societies have a lot to stake on this, and we just want to make sure we get the right person. But the information as it is right now is pretty conclusive on who this person might be.
Right. I mean, I have certain avenues I'm really good at using and
Excellent.
really good at getting, results. But yeah, just let me know at some point if you want to either put our heads together or do something. And you name it. Like, I mean,
Excellent.
Excellent. And also
Mhm.
good to hear it. I'm no fan of Murder Most Foul.
well, how long ago was it?
I want to say almost 3 weeks.
Hmm.
3 weeks.
The only
Maybe.
thing that, the only thing that, besides tracks like this probably going cold, which is one thing, but hey, that's what happens. A high profile thing like this, you're going to step over someone's toes. And yeah, no one is going to be happy about this, but well, I suppose we'll just have to be a little bit more careful.
Careful.
I mean, depending on, mostly anyone who's doing stuff like this would have planned it and not just say, well, I'm just going to kill this guy without, at least having all their bases covered. I think. I don't know, of course, but,
With that, he will silence his phone, check it, and say he'll be right back. I'll be right back, guys.
Right.
Go for it.
He will politely excuse himself from the table.
And that will be politely accepted. But yeah, Natalia, do you play cards?
Do I play cards? Of course
I'll
I play
take
cards.
that as a yes.
course I play
Good, good. Once again, the Belarusians are not leaving me hanging. Excellent.
I'm not from Belarusia.
No? No?
No.
Okay. Well, in that case, pardon me.
Ukrainian. I know it's not a big thing, but
Oh.
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 It's same, but
Oh,
it's really not.
well, it is different. Or
Yeah,
at
it
least
is.
so I've heard.
Oh, it is. It is.
Hmm.
Ukrainian and Russian actually not too much like each other. I
Yeah.
still need to brush up on my Russian, actually. My Russian's terrible.
Yeah. 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 I remember us doing some operations back in the 80s. Yeah. Back when it was the US with the SSR. Yeah.
She just raises an eyebrow.
The ancient history and probably would just bore you.
Maybe not. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is, are you going to deal some cards? Are we going to play? Or are we going to what?
To be fair, I've been itching for a good game of cards for ages. What's your poison?
What's my pleasure? Well,
Yeah.
She'll just take the cards and shuffle them up. She will probably look. There are only two, so it's probably going to be. Oh, I can't remember. What's that? Rummy? Is that what it's called in English? She'll suggest some. It's probably not poker. She's not going to suggest that, but she is going to suggest something.
Poker, rummy, three
Yeah, I think it's rummy.
hounds. Yeah, it could be.
So you're going to put some money in it, or just going to play?
I don't have a lot, but I actually have a bit, so I'm willing to put a bit of money in it.
All right, that's good.
However, just playing it, one against one is a bit boring. Shall we see if we can convince Nikolai to join in? The more the merrier.
Quite.
Fair enough. If you'll excuse me. And he hops off his bar stool and be walking over to Nikolai.
Nikolai is going to look up, blink twice, quickly gather up the papers, and close up the notebook before our dear Marcus can come over and go. Yes?
Very good, very good. I see you're not losing your touch. I'd like to invite you to a game of rummy. We're currently at least a person short. Only small amounts.
out of character. I don't know how to play rummy.
Nor do I.
All right.
Nor do I. We're just going to fudge
All
it
right.
somehow.
Okay.
I mean, if
Nikolai.
worst comes to the worst, I'll literally roll a d10. Everyone can roll a d10, and that gives you a rough
Yeah.
idea of who has like the best hand, the worst
All right.
hand, and who's middling.
Nonsense. We play this by simply rolling our subterfuge.
Or that.
Nikolai will blink twice, look down at his research, then just give a small shrug and go, I suppose so. I suppose
Think
I
of
can
it as a
take a
quick. Yeah, just think of it as a quick study break, so that you can refocus later.
Yeah, those are important, actually.
Stands up and moseys over to wherever you guys are.
Yeah. Marcus will be talking with, just a sec, with the barkeeper, John. They have a few words. John gestures to a door sort of diagonally behind him and goes, yeah, the poker room is free. You guys can use it. Marcus thanks him and stuffs a 10-quid note into his front vest. Good man. Right, the room is free. Oh, and John, yeah. In case the other fellow would like to come in, just let him know where we are. Yeah, sure thing, Marcus. And he throws Marcus the key, and Marcus will proceed to try and open the door.
Yeah, and then once he's in, Natalia will follow him, and she'll just sit down. She'll begin to deal. They'll play for a while. But once she's dealing the cards and they're sitting down, she'll just go, so Nikolai, what's what all the work you're doing? What is like? Is it just personal project or what?
Just a personal project for the time being. I'm
Okay.
still fairly new to the city, so I'm just doing some pauses for a second, then goes social studies.
There's a look on Natalia's face that pretty much translates into right, as in she probably doesn't believe you.
She just gives a small shrug. Nothing very big or nothing that really concerns our own community.
Right. So she looks at her cards.
Right. I'll be doing some. If everyone wants to roll me a d10, that would be in Dice Roller 1.
We rolled the same thing. God damn.
Okay, everyone has got a really shitty hand.
I don't like this shitty hand. Who's dealing again?
Natalia.
Alright. Well, Natalia is not near enough to me for a larceny check.
No, but yeah, she'll mix up again. She'll just look around and she'll just go, so Do any of you guys know if there's like a complaint line or something?
For the
Like-
Order Dracul and
For
his
the bar?
eyebrow
No,
rises.
like for like
The domain.
yeah, like if you can put things to the prince, but there isn't any like anonymous tips or something.
Not that I'm aware of, but then again, I'm not that much older to the domain than a lot of you guys. So, mind you, if it exists, I'd love to have that number.
Yeah, it's just I heard apparently that someone gave an anonymous tip about someone else, and well, I mean, it's all really vague and shit. And I really would want some more concrete shit on it, or concrete leads on it, but from what I can gather, maybe there is something, but no, I mean, I guess it's just normal bullshit politics. Of just
The
someone saying something to someone and then someone
Chinese
hears it.
whispers, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're really unlucky, denunciations.
Mm.
By the way, I forgot to mention that in this room there is a big air filter. This place also doubles as a fumoir. And that's the reason why Marcus is putting in a lucky strike and lighting it.
As soon as you do that, Natai just smiles and lights up a cigarette herself. Okay, now we're talking.
Hmm. Very good. Oh, and Marcus offers a cigarette to Nikolai. Would you like one?
Nikolai waves him off. Didn't smoke before. Quit the habit when I was still mortal. Have no desire to take it up again.
Fair enough. More for me. And he puts it back in his side pocket. Right. But of course, before we can play proper, there has to be something to lose. So, I guess we should start small, because after all, not all of us are in the Invictus and have deep pockets.
Hey, fuck you.
What?
Is that not
I've
true?
seen you. Why?
I mean, I know, but like, come on, like, there's no reason to like call people names and shit. Like,
Okay. Gotcha. You're sensitive about that. Okay,
yeah, you
fair
know,
enough. Fair enough. How about a pool of? He sort of looks around. £10, and he slaps 10 quid in the middle of the table.
you're on. Natalia matches it.
Nikolai will shrug and then toss in 10 quid.
I mean, what is money for us at the end of the night? Good. I would say we roll a d10 again.
Woo!
All right. Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Natalia leans a bit back, takes a drag from her cigarette. So, are you? You seem quite really relaxed, Irons. Like with all of this weird stuff going on, like
Hmm.
you seem very relaxed. I mean, it's commendable, but it's just, is there like stuff you don't know? Like, is there stuff you know that is makes you more or less, you know, less anxious, or what?
Mm, I've been able to resolve a few things for myself. Sadly, I can't go into greater detail, not because of you two fine folks here, but you can never be too careful at who's
Yeah,
listening.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, so if being a okay, no, I will not say that. But how should I say? I think you know the expression hitting the ground running.
Yeah.
In my case, it was more like hitting the ground, planting face first into the rocks, but after that, regaining my orientation, and then and then getting back into my stride. How should I say? In my previous life, there were a lot of high intensity situations, as disquieting as it might sound. I basically grown a bit used to it, you know, keeping cool under fire and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And it probably helps that I've got a clearly defined enemy now. How should I say? I feel more in a situation that I know how to handle, especially once I got all the info of how to deal with this enemy.
Hmm.
Does that answer your question? He takes
Yeah,
a
I guess
drag
it
from his
does.
cigarette.
I guess it does.
And let's just say I've come into the possession of an object that allows me to dish out against those little beady-eyed fuckers.
Hmm.
It's sort of nice if somebody hands you something that is basically the equivalent of having claws to claw the beasts that before could only claw you. And yes, I know I've used the word claw a little bit too much. Give me a break. I'm not a wordsmith.
Right.
Careful. Don't rely on one tool too much.
Oh, I've got a plan B and a plan C, so don't worry, I was trained. I know. 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is 2. And you only properly preparate it when you have got 2. But yeah. I do feel more relaxed. And I like it that way. After all, if every night you're only on tension, you're going to get a cramps one of these nights. But anyway, we were playing cards, so I'm going. He knocks on the table.
Yeah, they'll play a bit more.
Yeah.
And Talia just seems to get quite caught up in the game. She does seem to focus on it. It seems to smile a bit.
Very good. To be fair, when I've got the monies for it, I might be thinking of buying myself a small little place, you know, maybe some pool tables, maybe a nice table for card games, some darts, maybe a few other things, and maybe just open it up for Kindred. You know, a bit like a gentleman's club, but ladies are, of course, also invited.
I was just worried there for a second. You know what? Gentlemen's clubs are not really. And I know what you're going for, but still. Never mind.
You know, just create a little space where Kindred can come, relax a bit, have a friendly game of cards, and forget all the politics bollocks for a night.
That's actually when you really want to watch out. We're just assuming that at least there are some people just overhearing our conversations constantly, and therefore there is even more politics, which just pisses me off, honestly. Oh well.
Or maybe I have to make it closed invitation only. Because I've got the feeling we Kindred would probably benefit if we had a place where we could just talk and have the Vegas rule.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Not yet, anyway.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with hoping, nothing wrong with aiming high, but I don't wager it too successful. Oh well.
I wouldn't put stock in that. It'll fail.
See,
That's the
points-
only thing I ever asked for. The freedom to make the odd failure and learn from it. Minor ones, mind you.
So yeah, no inviting Nikolai. Things are going to get bad quite fast.
Well, yeah, if not, I will have to start stabbing the corners just to check.
Or like sprinkle like flour or something. I don't know. I don't know if that works, but
Well, I'm not the expert on the matter. And he finishes the cigarette. This discussion is happening as they are playing the rounds.
Yeah.
And
I
to
have
be,
to- I
Sorry.
have to. No, it's fine. I'm just going to have to. She looks at her smartphone. I have to look at the thing.
right now,
Yeah, in a couple of moments, but yeah, it's going to be like this next round is going to be my last, I think. But
understood.
she downs the glass or what's left in the glass, and she'll just go. Oh well, it was fun. We should have like card night or something, or like.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have card night. That would be good.
Yes.
And as time goes on, we wager more money. That could be good.
Well,
Or-
yes. As time goes on, I'll have more money to wager. He smiles. And it seems to be a genuine and open one. It seems Marcus thoroughly enjoyed this little session. But yeah, thank you for indulging me, Miss Belenko. It was a pleasure. And he will go and open the door for her because he was born in the 60s, so he just can't help himself.
Well, as she finishes her last cigarette, the cigarette she's smoking, she looks at it. So everyone should like, if we have four or five people, everyone should brush up on the Texas Hold'em rules. I mean, poker is a good game, but you know.
But Texas Hold'em is where it's at. I agree.
Yeah, that's Well, we could also, we basically could have like 5 card or 7 card stud, but I mean, depends on like what kind of person you are. But 7 card stud is okay for me, but it's depends.
Oh, I'm sure we can come up with something. But yeah, would be my pleasure. I'll text you the next time I fancy or are able to organize something. Who knows if we've got an official games night, I might be able to convince John to rent it out a little bit more often. And I of course could also have 2 of my associates, check the windows, check the doors, the usual, so that we are undisturbed.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. All right, I'll see you guys in the. I'll see you guys around.
See you in a while. Safe travels. Have a good one.
Yes. Yeah, and the player
Bye.
needs to do a thing. See you guys later.
Bye bye. Ah, that was delightful. I hope I wasn't imposing too much on you.
No, it's quite fine.
Hmm. Yeah. To be fair, it's always easier to get a better idea of someone when they're relaxed. She wasn't wrong. They are more likely to leave their guard down.
Maybe.
Mind you, I don't wish her any ill. She's been nothing but cordial to me so far.
This is true. She doesn't seem to. Yeah, she doesn't seem too driven, I guess would be the word. Or she doesn't seem too jaded, I guess.
Yeah, I've come across way more jaded characters than hers in my lifetime, which in my books can be a rather good thing. Cynicism has a bad way of just creeping in everywhere and just turning all the white doors black.
Still, I'd be careful.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Your whole gaming idea is interesting, but the city's tearing itself apart right now.
Maybe all the more reason to appear non-threatening.
Non-threatening, yes, but one of these days someone's going to get the idea to use your little game night as a political move.
You mean as happened in the last Elysium?
Shrugs and goes, maybe that, maybe something else.
Well, sage advice as usual. I'll definitely consider it.
Just gives a small shrug and says, but hey, what do I know? I'm not really into the whole social scene.
Anyways, John is a good man, and he's keeping an eye out for me. That being the barkeep. One thing I am slightly curious. So far, I haven't been able to get any answer on that, and maybe you can help me with this. It isn't a small matter, but it's important to me. Now, the gangrel I came across, initiated me and got me into the Ordo in the first place, explained to me that there is a difference between Ordinals from other chapters or other areas that are just guest in an Ordinal domain, and that there are then chapter members. And so far, I haven't been able to find out if I'm considered a London chapter member or not. I'd just like to know where I stand on that.
Gives a small shrug and goes, I imagine, given that you're sworn to the city, or you're considered part of the city, you're most likely part of the chapter. Now, whether you're a general member or one of the sworn, that's more. If you were one of the sworn, you know you were sworn.
I am not.
Exactly. So, you're probably a general member? That's not really my. Well, I don't really have a department in the Ordo, so I wouldn't really know. I suggest asking an official. But given the fact that the Ordo stuck their neck out for you when you were originally in trouble, leads me to believe that you are a general member, at the very least.
That was my inkling, but I didn't want to assume too much. To be fair, I was pleasantly surprised. I was frankly more expecting the local order just to kick me out and to wash their hands off me. That definitely was a pleasant surprise. Wouldn't have been the first time in my existence that people just shooed me away. He is trying to smile, but it's more of a grimace. Well, it motivates me more to see that the local order does well and prospers. If I'm part of the chapter, it's nicer to be part of something than not to be.
Yeah.
How's your sire doing, by the way? I hope she's well.
Raises the eyebrow at the son, turn in conversation. She's fine as far as I'm aware.
Excellent. And Marcus sort of seems to be snapping back to what they were talking before.
Right.
So, on a slightly different subject, still related, have you had any luck finding any bones with certain properties? And he gives you a wink.
He rummages in his notebook, then takes out 3 sheets and hands you to them and says, still doing research, but these might be potential leads. AKA, I haven't heard back from my blue book, so I don't know what I've got.
Same situation here. This is more, to be fair, this is more fluff. For when it comes, we can go and say that, yes, we compared notes.
Yep.
Marcus will just be noting up a few things in his own little notebook, put it in the side, carefully fold it, and push it back to Nikolai. Good to know. Good to know. No, good. Are you still of the opinion that we shouldn't even bother with the magic shop?
I'm going to check it out eventually, but given that it's a local advertisement place, the chances of it being a cult, actually a cult in nature, is about 50-50. That being said, if they have what we need, that's probably neither here nor there. It's very unlikely that they just have a boat. I
know.
The material with the proper properties just lying around. It would be better for us to acquire it on our own.
Well, I have thought of an option, but it is most unsavory. At least for my standards.
Well, even if it is unsavory, if all else fails, we may need to pursue it. It's not exactly like we can let things go on as they are.
No, and from what I heard, that entity is a menace to the local area, one way or another. So
I'm surprised we haven't heard any in the news about any more incidents with it. So far, we have been lucky, but
yeah, doesn't mean that our luck won't run out at some point.
However, if we can get enough material, I would suggest instead of straight up disposing of it, we may be able to round it up for he sort of gestures to himself, the proper authorities.
Do I get it properly that you would like to cork that genie in a bottle, so to speak?
Gives a small shrug and says, it may come in usefulness at a later date.
Or it could just decide to rip all of our faces off if it ever gets loose. Speaking of hypotheticals, of course.
Shrugs and goes, hey, you've proven you're a class example. You never get ahead without taking a little risk.
Well, it was our squadron's motto, after all.
Nods slowly. Goes,
But thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
So, what have you been up to recently? Besides the whole...
You probably overheard me mentioning that Mr. Goodman and I were able to apprehend 2 of the 3 ne'er-do-wells that let the beam crash horrifically down on all those unfortunate people.
No, I did not hear.
Ah, okay. So, how to put it not to come over as dramatic? Anyway, as the chaos, screw it. As the chaos was ensuing, and I know enough about the Albert Hall, knowing that it isn't a rickety old building where something like that could be a pure coincidence, my first instinct was to look up. There I saw some shadows moving, at which point I realized that Mr. Goodman had noticed it as well, and since he was the more dexterous of us 2, I simply pointed those figures out. He followed them from the roof. I followed them from the ground. After a rather windy chase, I was able to get in front of at least two of the three. The third one sped past me. Probably celerity. I wouldn't be able to describe it any other way. And I imposed myself as Mr. Goodman was coming from the rear. And to cut a long story short, the one individual, and he produces a telephone picture, one lady in torpor, the other body of a man looking rather scraggly and not too much unlike Marcus the first time he showed up at Elysium. So dirty clothes, haven't been washed in ages. That guy obviously has met final death because it is a dried up corpse to a certain extent. We were fighting against those two. That guy, he shows to the male, he was just taking punishment as if it was nothing. But after a while, it basically looked as if his body was broken at multiple places, but something was holding it together. If I didn't know better, I could swear that it was his beast somehow ephemerally holding his half-destroyed body together. I won't lie, Mr. Goodman took most of the beating because they were mostly focusing on him, but luckily I had Vanu with me, my trusty Shadowblade, and I was able to get in some good finishing blows there, torturing that lady and severely wounding that guy before Mr. Goodman sent him off to his forefathers. We grabbed the two bodies and just in time managed to get away from the alley before the police came. They had probably machine guns on them. I recognized it from the clatter of plastic and metal. Sadly, a very familiar sound to me.
Shame I couldn't have been there. I would have loved to get a decent look at the third individual.
Yeah, well, first I thought of trying to get a picture, but then I realized that it would hinder me if I tried to shoot a video, and that we'd probably lose all of them. So, anyways,
True.
yeah, so you know how it is.
You didn't happen to get a parting shot at the third one, did you, by any chance?
I tried to, but their celerity was too fast for me. Missed them by inches. Not inches, must have been like millimeters.
I see. So, what did you do with the torpor lady?
Yeah, so the other lady, and she, the woman Nikolai sees, Amazonian is probably the best way to describe her. Now she was a gangrel and had grown some rather nasty claws. Anyway, we managed. My two good friends, my two good associates, came around with a vehicle I'd recently purchased. We managed to put it in there. Don't worry, no windows, nobody saw anything. And we got them to the interested authorities.
Oh? Who did you deliver them? Did you happen to meet one of the Archons?
Yes. Who was rather pleased about our catch. And even though the other person had been met with final death, I thought that, who knows, maybe somebody who is good at ferreting out secrets might still be able to get information out of the body, and he gives Nikolai a knowing look, which is clearly saying like, oh, like a mechhead doing their thing, sort of expression.
Gives a small shrug and goes, well, which Archon did you hand them over to?
Out of character, that hasn't been decided yet, so a name of an Archon is given. I just out of character don't know it yet.
Alright, so it was not the ring. What he's fishing for, was it the ringmaster or not?
Out of character, I'll let you know if it turns out to have been the ringmaster.
Out of character, I will say that is probably the best circumstances for Nikolai.
To be fair, I mean I have to speak with Evan on this one, so that's why I can't give a hard name. I would say let's say if Evan is okay with that and Julian's player is okay with that, I would say the Archon, because Marcus has the Archon's number. It knows him, and so on and so forth.
That's why I was imagining it would be him anyways.
As I say, probably, but I just want to say, if it is different, don't quote us on this scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yes, we were recommended for what we did. So yeah, I seem to be collecting some from this point. Yeah, seems I'm collecting a few gold stars. Can't hurt. If nothing else, it makes the order look good, and that can't hurt at all.
Well, definitely helps us out, but also may cause you problems. The more you help the current establishment, just keep in mind, the more you help them, the more you look like their man to some outside parties.
Then again, ever considered that people who attack Elysium are basically attacking the whole of Kindred society in the city? You can say about this government what you want, but I'm a big believer in Elysium. I think it's actually probably quite important for our kind to have at least certain places where we can feel reasonably safe. And I don't like people behaving like terrorists, if you catch my drift. Because who knows, maybe in 50 years or so, that could be me on stage.
Nikolai will just blink at that and slowly raise an eyebrow. You taking up the violin, Marcus?
I'm full of surprises. He smiles.
Tilts his head and goes, you strike me more as an accordion guy. Maybe with a little bowler cap.
Yeah, fuck you too, mate. And he just laughs and slaps the top of his leg. No, I'm more of a guitar guy, actually. But when you don't have anything and the harmonica you've seen, that was gifted to me. I'm passable with it.
Well, if things calm down, you'll definitely have time to learn.
Who says that I don't already know how to play?
I've heard you. You don't know how to play.
The guitar? You've never heard me play
The
guitar.
harmonica.
Yeah. Yeah. You're being rather direct today. Have I pissed you off?
Now, why would you say something like that?
I hope not.
Don't worry, you're fine.
I know I'm on your size shit list. I'm fully aware of that.
Raises on, blinks at that, and goes,
Or to be more precise, I'm pretty sure I'm on your size shit list.
"That's definitely news to me."
Really? And at that point, Marcus's eyebrows raise. He seems genuinely surprised at that.
Scratches the back of his head, and goes, "Look, I think you think I'm more close to my sire than I am.
Could be.
We get along, and I do discuss things with her, but I don't know everything that goes on with her. She doesn't know everything that goes on with me." But
A miscalculation then.
honestly, she's never said anything negative about you.
Now that's good news.
So,
Thank you for sharing that.
what gave you the impression that you were on her shit list?
The whole and he makes a hand gesture that probably should represent an owl.
Yeah, I think she would have reacted that way for anybody saying what you said. That doesn't mean she is an Invictus, but she's not that petty. I mean, how should I put it this way? Take no offense, but I think you're thinking a little too highly of yourself to make it onto her shit list.
Marcus just chuckles. Probably am, but that's good news. That's good news for me. And yeah, who knows? Maybe my experience with my sire is coloring my view on the Invictus a little bit too harshly. Maybe. Could be. I mean,
there are
there's
good Invictus and there are bad Invictus. Just like there's good Carthians and bad Carthians. Well, there's bad Carthians and there's goddamn Carthians, and then there's that small portion of good Carthians.
Yeah. And no offense taken. I'll share that little piece with you. Being Ventrue, it does a number on your brain. Sometimes I'm not even sure if I'm just being as paranoid as I used to be, or if I'm just a whole tick more paranoid and not even realizing. It's not really as if I really had somebody I could talk about that with. And that is a sign of how far, in quotation marks, I trust you. That I'm even talking about that.
My advice: get in good with one of the. If you want someone to talk to that you can bounce ideas off of, and someone you could quote unquote trust, pursue someone in the Ordo. There are individuals that whole purpose is to protect others, if you know what I mean. The in protection sometimes goes further than just the simplest things. Oh, Khan seems to have taken a liking to you.
Out of character, who did you say?
Khan.
Khan. How should I say? I've got the feeling we click more. We're probably also speaking from. Then again, I just might be assuming. I'll let that be.
Out of character. You know, I mentioned Sworn. If you ever go Sworn of the Axe, I know what mentor you should take.
Khan, right?
Khan.
Is that the person with the lovely red
Tattoos?
With the red tattoos over the
Yeah.
face?
Yep. And he
Yeah.
has Coil of Zermisi.
Ooh, nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Talking about Khan, was willing to show me a few tricks with the sword as I was training back at headquarters. Those came in handy.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah. But I've got the feeling I've taken up enough of your time, so...
Stands up to leave, and as he does so, he goes, of course, there's another route. If you really want to find someone you can talk this over with, and you really want to have trust with them, people, it's not the best idea, but if you feel like you can, if you want to guarantee a relationship with them, there's always more mystical ways to reinforce it. He says
I
with a shrug.
know, I know what you speak of, but in my book, that isn't trust anymore. It is something enforced upon, because trust goes two ways.
An exchange of blood, a oath of sorts.
Okay. Less likely for me. Let's just say the last time I had Kindred Vitae in my gullet, it was painful. It was very, very painful. I don't fancy repeating that anytime soon.
Raise it, blinks at you and goes, it was painful?
Yes. When I was embraced and that motherfucker shoved his vitae down my throat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can see how that would be painful. Yeah, that's not how things normal. I don't go suggesting tasting Vitae again, but trust me, that's if you ever do, that's not the experience you're going to have.
Still.
Anyways, I can see why you're going through there. Here's an idea.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure we have one or two therapists within our convent. Just gives a small shrug. Maybe they can help. Anyways, toodles, as he starts walking out.
Yeah, Marcus follows him, grabs his bag from behind the counter, does exchange some more words with John, and just gives you a nod and says, well, whatever you're researching, hope you have your breakthrough soon. I had mine.
Alright, I got a phone call now, so see ya.
Yeah, end of scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another scene. Goodbye.